Thank y'all for tuning in to Talking with the Pig Man. Today I'm talking turkeys with Blake Wallace with Swamp Boys Custom Calls and Windy Hill Precision. Thank you to the sponsors, Mossy Oak Properties Posey Land Company. Come on, let's get into it. Shoo! Everybody, thank y'all for tuning in to Talking with the Pig Man. I'm here today with Blake Wallace with Swamp Boys Custom Calls, and he's also a pro staffer with Windy Hill Precision. Blake, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm honored to be here.
Good. So, youth season starts Saturday.
It does. It starts
I know a lot of people are geared up. That's tomorrow. That's right. I got a youngin' that thinks we're going to get out in the woods and try to find something. We're going to go do something regardless.
That's what I told mine. I said the most we'll do is just go get a biscuit
if
we don't find nothing.
Yeah, well, good. I saw you were looking for a place from the hunt. Did you ever find something?
I didn't.
Well,
that's about like, you can just about find a place to deer hunt in Mississippi, but you ain't going to find a
I think people will loan you money before they give you a turkey nut. Well, anyway, so youth season starts tomorrow, so we'll have a week of that. And this year it's working out for spring break, so that's good for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
So, some people spring break.
And this is actually the longest Mississippi season we've ever had in history.
I saw that because of the way the dates fall.
Yep.
That's awesome. So then next week on the 14th, adult turkey season starts. So first off, before I get into my interrogation questions, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You've been ready since deer season, haven't you?
I'm 365 days.
Man, I tell you, look, it's something about, I don't know. I have tame turkeys, and I think you do too, don't you? Yeah. And just hearing that tame turkey gobble, man, gets me fired up. Even though I know he's not gobbling for any reason other than he just wants to be fed.
That and listening to tame turkeys will help you, learn those soft little sounds and stuff.
Well, and I like to watch my hens communicate back and forth with each other. It's pretty in depth if you pay attention to it. It's more than just a little bit of yelping and a lot of noise. They're carrying on conversations, man.
The wild turkey can I think it's 29 different sounds is what they can create.
Yeah.
And half of them we don't even use.
Yeah. So, and we don't know what any of it means. We're just guessing at this point.
Exactly.
So, well, all right. So, question number one: what is your go-to call? Is it a mouth call, box call, slate call? What are we using?
Ooh, that's kind of a loaded question because so many different scenarios can be useful with different types of calls.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to go with one specific call, it would be a mouth call, simply because it's hands-free.
Yep.
There's points and times where one comes in silent, and if all you have is a slate or a box or some kind of handheld call, you can't move.
Right.
And that mouth call will allow you to get in that extra few yards.
Right. So he may be within 20 yards, and if you move, it's over with.
That's
you
it.
ruin the whole thing.
So mouth call would be my go-to.
Okay. All right. Anything in particular from Swamp Boys that's your number one mouth call?
Ooh, man, any of them really. My top favorite ones are gonna be our new 2026 Palmetto Queen.
Mm-hmm.
It's a combo cut. That's a really awesome call.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to get it in the woods this spring. We have a new one called the Hooker. It's a batwing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good call, new for 2026. But if I had to pick a go-to style and mouth call from Swamp Boys, my personal favorite is either the Joker or the Viper. It's a batwing cut. The Joker's a batwing cut. You can do just about anything on it. And the Viper is a snake tongue cut, which is basically a batwing cut, but it's split up the middle, so it gives you a little bit more rasp.
Okay, gotcha. A little deeper. Yeah. A little deeper call. Okay. All right, so this is something people ask all the time, and everybody struggles with it. A hung up gobbler or a henned up gobbler. Is there a secret sauce to getting to you, or is it luck of the draw?
You gotta lay with him. That's the thing.
Persistence.
I mean, just like I hunted one last year that I killed in the Homerton National Forest, and I hunted that gobbler for 12 straight days. He had 13 hens with him when I killed him.
Oh my goodness.
It took an act of Congress to
kill
him.
Just to get past 13 hens that bust you out and fly.
And in the end, I never called to him.
Yeah.
When I finally figured out that he wasn't going to respond, all he was going to do is spit and drum and stay right there with his hands and strut.
Why would he want to leave? He's got everything in. He's 13 years. It's a lot.
The only thing that I could do was call to that lead hen and eventually make her mad enough to where she wanted to come over there and whip my butt. A lot of people don't realize hen fights too. They're
That's right.
So what I like to do in that scenario is if they have hens with them and you can get in their so-called bubble, you know, because if you're too far away, it don't matter what you say.
Right.
You got to be in that bubble, and that's where woodsmanship comes in and knowing the terrain. But yeah, the main thing I do is get after that hen, and I'll get her to respond, and then I'll try cutting her off after we get communicating back and forth. I'll let her say something, and I'll copy her. Exact same thing.
That's right.
Back and forth, and I'll keep copying her, and then eventually, when I get her really excited and can tell she's getting worked up, I'll start cutting her off. Just like as if
just kind of push her over the edge.
Exactly, like as if you're having a conversation with somebody and they keep cutting you off. It's gonna get under your skin.
Absolutely.
Same way with her. And man, boy, she turned and brought him.
I cut people off all the time. It aggravates us too. It don't really affect me, but it aggravates them.
But
all right, so this will segue into that. So you got that one. He's henned up. You got to kind of explain some of the tactics. There's multiple ways. Every scenario is going to be different.
Exactly.
You can't sit here and have this is the exact way to work with a turkey or a gobbler that's henned up. It's scenarios dictate the situation.
I learn every spring.
Sure.
Something new.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
never. The brain ain't that big, but they're a smart little dude.
They're wary.
Well, they're scared to death. That's
everything they're on everything's food chain.
Yeah, they're at the bottom of the food chain pretty much. So.
It's amazing what it takes a turkey to get to age to be a hunter.
That's right. Exactly.
I mean, it's crazy. From fire ants to coons, snakes, possums, whatever. It's an amazing creature.
Coyotes, coons, possums, all of it. Bobcats, and and most recently, which I say recently, it's been several years now, but the wild hog has turned into a big problem.
They are very bad on
because they just wreak havoc on everything they
come across.
All right, so let's get back to we talked about a henned up gobbler. We're moving on to one that maybe he either gobbles his head off on the roof, and then when he hits the ground he shuts up, or he never gobbles. I've got one right now. I know exactly where he's living. Dude don't gobble, but he's old. He knows better. He knows if he gobbles, he's going to give something off. Now I know at some point he's going to gobble, but I may not be there when he does it.
Exactly.
So give me a situation.
That kind of goes back to question one. Persistence. Stay with him because, like you said, at some point he's going to gobble.
Sure.
He's not silent.
That's right.
He don't gobble a lot, and it could be different scenarios. He could be an old bird like you're saying and just don't really gobble a lot. But he is spitting and drumming at some point.
That's
and
right.
A lot of the time, if you listen, you might not be able to hear that, but you'll hear them hens and them, the jakes and stuff answering. So he's communicating, but he don't gobble much.
That's right.
And it could also be a younger bird that's a subordinate bird that has, there might be a pile of jakes in the area.
He knows better than to speak out.
If he gobbles, then jakes come run him off because a group of jakes.
10 jakes will whoop the fire out of him
every time.
Yeah.
And he'll get subordinate to where he just
he breathes in and keeps to himself.
Sticks to himself. And if you can get in that bubble though, and get close and know where he likes to be, because if you're seeing him on camera, you know he's there. And you go out there and he might not say a word.
That's right. So you got more in-field experience than I do, but I know situations where which we'll get to this question in a minute, but I'm not a patient, sit still. I don't like to deer hunt turkey, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes that is, and I shouldn't say deer hunt, but sitting and waiting is what has to happen. If I don't hear one make some noise within the first little bit of a hunt, I'm kind of getting where I'm like, there may not be turkeys here. Let's go find some. But yeah, like you say, it's that. And I know there's places that have more turkeys, especially in Lincoln County, Pike County. I know there's places that have way more turkeys than others. But for the most part, within rock throwing distance of here, there's some turkeys. And if you get to a place that's got the habitat for them, you can more than likely get on something. It may not be exactly what you're looking for. It may be a bunch of hens. There's going to be a gobbler somewhere. But just not giving up is the main thing that I hear people say.
And I call it, if he flies down, he goes the other direction. 9 times out of 10, you're not coming home with a gobbler.
That's right.
9 times out of 10, he's going to win, and that's okay.
That teaches
you. But stay in there. Don't get up and just go to the truck. Stay in there with him, learn him. You might not kill him that day, but you'll learn the route he took because at some point he's gonna go.
That's right.
And you might not be able to get back on him that day, but you'll know where a good starting point is for the next time.
Absolutely. So I watch these guys on YouTube. Watch a lot of YouTube. Watch the hunting public a lot, and I love those guys. I saw you got to meet them in NWTL.
Yeah, I did. Really cool guys.
It seems that way, but I do like how they show which I actually think it was Will Primos in that last documentary he just put out. The truth about hunting was the truth. It was the misses. Well, the hunting public does a good job of that, but what people don't see is the hours that go into editing those videos and getting rid of that stuff where they didn't kill a turkey, right? And we can get hyped up and be like, oh man, within 3 hours we ought to hear something gobbling. No, it takes days sometimes for those guys run around different public areas to even hear a turkey gobble. All right, so move on to shotgun and ammunition setup.
I'm running a new gun this year. I was running a 1187 20 gauge, Remington 1187 20 gauge that I had custom built by Mr. Vic Hoffman up in Oxford.
Okay.
At Black River Productions, and it finally went out on me, and I'm in the process of trying to find another one. But in the meantime, I went and bought me a Stoker M3020 Turkey Edition. Okay. And let me tell you, that thing is sweet.
It'll shoot some packers.
It is nice, and of course I'm running Windy Hill.
Yep.
And I run the 8 and 10 blend.
Okay.
In my opinion, that to me, all of them's good. All Mr. Shea Steffens, he's from New Hebron, Mississippi.
Yep.
It's a local little company.
Right down the road, man.
All hand loaded, nothing mass produced. It's all hand loaded.
That's right here in Mississippi.
Yep. And very, very good guy. Him and his wife run the company, and he's been awesome since I've been with him. But all of his stuff is good. But the 8 and 10 blend is my personal favorite. Okay. Simply because them 8s are a little bit heavier, and where I hunt in the home of Chitta, and it's thick. It's thick.
Yeah, it's a lot of brush.
Sometimes you might have a little bit of brush in the way, some hedge, something in the way, and those 8s are a little bit heavier. They can get through that, and then you have a wall of 10 shot, which is a lot smaller, coming behind it.
Gotcha.
And it just makes
kind of pushes through the way and then lets the rest take the turkey.
Some really good hunting.
That's good.
And I've had really good success with them.
So I mentioned my style of turkey hunting earlier. I'm impatient, which I'm impatient anyway. You see, I can't sit here without rocking very long. And anybody that knows me knows I don't sit still. So what's your style? And I know you're a seasoned enough turkey hunter to probably be able to move back and forth between what works and what's not working, move to where it works. So, but if you had to take a preference, every time you went turkey hunting, you could pick one of those, what's your favorite?
I'll tell you this, I ain't bringing no turkey chair in the woods.
Yeah.
that's a no-go for me. I'm not, as you said earlier, deer hunting turkey, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Now, when I don't want to contradict myself, when I say lay with him, I don't mean just sitting there and stay in one spot.
That's right.
Be mobile.
You're constantly trying to get in that bubble. That's right.
Exactly. Listen for those hens, listen for that stuff, and if you can, move a little closer. Yep. Stay with them.
That's right.
And eventually, you're going to come to a spot where the terrain is perfect and everything's going to fall together for you to at least have an opportunity.
That's right.
So I like the running gun. That's my thing. But I will, like I said, lay with one. If he quits gobbling, I might lay back and just kind of take me a little, shade tree nap. Yeah. But I'm listening.
Well, but you don't want to keep pushing and bump them out.
Exactly. Don't let them be turkeys. And if you've called to him from one spot, he knows. He's heard you.
He's pinpointed.
He knows it, and that's in the back of his mind. When
it's like they have a GPS. They'll come straight to that spot.
When them hens start slipping away from him and stuff, it might be a 15-minute window. Now he might gobble, and you might have a 15-minute chance to kill him.
Happens.
But you need to be in that bubble in that 15 minutes. Because he's going to start gobbling.
Get a little nervous. He's going to start looking for those hens.
He's going to look for them, and he's going to get up. And I like to get on a high point, and I'll kick back under a tree and just let them do their morning thing. Come midday, you can strike them back up.
Sure.
You can get with them.
So And that you mentioned woodsmanship, which, man, turkey hunting, if you're not a good woodsman, you're just not. If you can't work the terrain, it's over with. Unless, you're one of these guys that, nothing against them, but these private land that's got turkeys everywhere. And still turkeys, even if they're everywhere, they're hard to kill.
Yeah.
But unless you've got private property, you've been hunting your whole life, and you know exactly where to go and set up, and other than that, man, you got to be able to work around some stuff. So using the terrain, using the aspects of the terrain that nobody else may know, or things that you didn't even know before you got there. So,
Exactly.
And that'll bring me on to the last topic.
I do want to pinpoint something.
Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
Talking about terrain, I get asked all the time, decoys this, decoys that.
I'm glad you brought that up.
In the woods,
mm-hmm.
No. No decoys.
Sure.
On public land. One, because it's dangerous.
Yep. Because you're sitting right behind that joker, more than likely 20 yards behind it.
And we're not wearing orange.
That's right. That's right.
So I've actually had somebody crawl up and shoot my decoy when I was younger and didn't really know no better.
Mm-hmm.
I packed decoys and I went to the National Forest, and I kept hearing something coming up the hill, and I was thinking it was deer or an armadillo, because it was slow and shuffling. And about that time, shot went off, and luckily it came up from the side of me and shot away from me.
Yeah, it shoot straight on you.
And it was an older man that had bad vision, and
he just seen a turkey.
He saw my Jake decoy and shot it. So
bad enough it was a decoy. It was
He
wasn't even a strutting decoy.
He wasn't even wearing camouflage.
He just had him a turkey.
Old school.
Well, and that's, man, I've seen situations where, that red right there gets mistaken sometimes on other stuff. And I know we try to wear, strict camo with no labels or logos or anything like that. But I've seen a lot of turkey vests with a little red dot on them. And even mine has an orange vest that I can pull out and put a turkey in the back or something. And, from a distance, that little bit of orange that toughs out on mine before I pull it out. I've had it sitting by a tree before and thought it was a red dot,
And so these new shells, TSS.
Oh my gosh. It's like shooting a rifle for a little bit.
It's very dangerous. I mean, it can do some damage.
Yeah.
If not worse.
So it's important to know where you're at, and public land, man. I'm gonna tell a story about public land here in a second, but
what I was gonna say before we move on is I don't use decoys on public land.
Right.
I use the terrain to kill him.
That's right.
Where I will put something in between us, like a little rise, the finger of a ridge or something in between us, where he has to pop up in gun range to see where he thinks that hen is.
Right.
So as soon as he pops up, he's already in range. And I don't have to work him no more.
That's right. And you're not sitting out there in the open for him to see you. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, that's it, man. And decoys are great in the right situation, but at the same time, no matter what you're doing, it's important to know your target. It's also important to know your surroundings, And just like you said, in that situation, you thought it was a deer. So last year, this wasn't a horror story, but it ruined my day, I'll tell you that. So I was in an undisclosed location in the National Forest. Now, I'm not going to drop any pins. Blake may have some pins for y'all. I highly doubt it.
They're not cheap.
I made him show me his own eggs before he came in here. But look, so I had heard this turkey gobbling for 2 mornings in a row. Just couldn't quite get to him from where I was parking. I could, but I had to walk through people on the crossroad. It was getting a headache. So finally found this little road, and I got right to where I thought he was. And boy, was I right, because he was gobbling right off the road. I mean, way too close for me to be parked. And I had listened to him. I knew his route. When he hit the ground, he was going that way. So I went around him. I was ready. I was set up, and boy, he was hammering. And I heard him get ready. I actually heard the hens fly down, and I could see it with the sun rising behind him. I saw him kind of start flapping his wings. I knew he was about to come down. And I heard this awful commotion. And all I could figure was it was Bigfoot. It was not. It was a man dressed in camo running at that turkey is all I can figure. And that turkey flew off, and he left out, and I never heard him gobble right there again. So I know he's probably still there. But that absolutely ruined me that day. I didn't even go back after. The next day I went back to here to see if he was there. He wasn't there. I moved on. I said somebody else.
I've had that happen a few times.
Yeah.
Because I killed my first private land bird last year in Texas.
Really?
So
you've been hunting public land for most of your life.
All my life.
That's awesome. That's
I
cool
hunted with my grandfather in it. You know, he deer hunted and all that, and I killed my first bird. I remember I was sitting on his floor. I was 8, 9 years old, sitting on the floor eating some cereal, and one of the first truths were on.
Yeah.
Most truths, and it was Bob Dixon and you know, Jimmy and Will, and they were turkey hunting, and I looked at my grandpa and was like, I want to do that. I want to do it. And he wasn't a turkey hunter.
Sure.
He was a deer and rabbit,
a
squirrel, a little bit of squirrel, you know, but he had dabbled with it a little bit when he was younger, maybe a few times. And he went and pulled out an old turtle shell call that he had made with a corncob striker. I mean, it was a piece of cherry wood on top. It wasn't even slate or anything. And he took me somewhere in the forest, and I don't even know if it sounded good, because back then I didn't know.
You didn't know,
I didn't know, but it sounded good enough for a Jake to come in.
Yeah.
I shot it at 15, 20 yards with a 1100, Remington 1100 and some 7.5 high brass. Not even a turkey load.
All over there, wasn't it?
And yes, but my grandfather passed not long after that.
Okay.
So nobody else in my family turkey hunted.
Okay.
Nobody.
Yeah.
And so there for a span, I didn't. You know, I didn't turkey hunt, and then when I got old enough to get back into it myself, it was a learning curve because I had to teach myself everything.
That's right.
So for 4 years,
that's right.
I'd say 4 years, I didn't even kill a turkey.
Yeah.
But I went every single day that I could, and I learned.
Yep.
And now people ask me all the time, they're like, how do you kill the deer you kill, and how do you kill the turkeys you kill every year in that home of Chitto when everybody and their mama can't do it?
You're learning.
I've been in there.
That's right.
Since day one. You know, I've put my boots on the ground.
And like I said, you're learning the animals, the terrain, the location. So semi-similar situation, which I'll be honest, I've never killed a public land bird, but I have killed private land, and my first one was a really nice, I mean, for Lincoln County or anywhere, really, it was a really nice goblin. And he had his beard was twisted, and I still have his beard. It's got like a real curl to it, and I've still got the beard. It hangs. I've got the fan mount and everything. But anyway, that set off something, and I turkey hunted my tail off for years after that. Private land, I never even dove into public land because at that point in my life, I had access to a lot of private turkey land, and it was big timber, big pines, and it was loaded with turkeys. Well, you get growing up, you start having responsibilities. I know you got a couple of kids like me, so
I got 4 of them.
Yeah, well, I got 3, so we're right there in the same boat. But responsibilities come up, and I know you've been able to still kind of turkey, but I was working off, and it just didn't work out. So I got away from it for a long time, but I never really lost the drive to want to. I just lost the ability to have the time to.
I know. I was working on tugboats when I was in my early 20s, and the first time that I was out on the deck of that boat, we were going down the Mississippi River, and it was early, and it was right at turkey season. I think we might have been somewhere around Illinois, maybe, or somewhere up there. Good crisp morning, and I heard one gobble, and I'm standing on the front of that boat.
Oh man,
that was the last hitch.
Mississippi River.
That was the last hitch I did on that boat.
I bet so.
I came home, and I haven't missed a birthday. I haven't missed a Christmas.
That's it.
I'm home, and I'm with my kids, and
that's it, man. I'm right there with you. I did that. That not really traveling for work, but working all the time thing, and it wears on you, man. There's people that are cut out for it. I don't judge anybody, but yeah, I'm with you, man. I like to be at home, but so with that comes my kids wanting to start hunting, which my kids have always deer hunting, And my little boy last year, he said, "Daddy, I really want to start turkey hunting." Well, I had more time, I had more opportunities. I said, "Look, man, we're gonna start doing it." And we busted out there in the National Forest for Youth Week, and it was a mess. But regardless, he got to hear turkeys gobble. He got to understand more about what I remembered as doing that with my grandpa. Because my grandpa used to take me turkey hunting. He wasn't no good at it. I never killed a turkey hunt with him. But we had a good time. He taught me what he knew, whether it was right or not, don't matter. But I'll never forget some of that stuff. All right, so let's try to get to the end of this. And I'm gonna ask you a question before we roll out. But number 1 question, or the number 6 question here, you're looking at a map, and I know you probably use OnX. I think everybody does. I use that Land ID now. But if you're sight unseen, you've never been boots on the ground in this location, what are you looking for? Give me, without revealing your secrets, but give me some location ideas.
Water.
Okay.
Because it's different. It's in habitat. Habitat is number one with turkey.
Right.
Deer, you can have a place that has poor habitat for deer, but deer are going to be there.
Sure.
Turkey's complete opposite. You either have habitat and they're there, or you don't have habitat and they're not.
Right.
A deer gets, I think it's like 75% of its water intake from the plants that it eats. So they don't have to be near water.
Right.
Turkeys have to.
That's right.
So it may not be right on a creek or right on a spring or something like that, especially here because there's so much water. But water is number one. That's the first thing I look for is some kind of water source within a reasonable distance.
Right. River, creek,
some kind of water. I mean, it can be a slough, like a swamp or something. Anything. It ain't gotta be running water.
Just water
source.
Yep.
And from there, I start looking at terrain. Not only is it good, can a turkey be there, but can I kill one there?
That's right.
Does it have the terrain that I can move and be mobile without being detected? Draws, ditches, stuff like that. And I like what I've learned is benches on the side of ridges. They really, if you can find a bench that's connected to like a ridge finger that kind of runs down the side, they love to roost right there because it's a flat, right above it, because it's a flat area that they can pitch to. They can see it good. They know there's not a bobcat waiting down there on them,
and they're up higher, so they got that.
And
advantage.
always try to start above them. It's a lot easier, and I'm sure you've heard this from old timers, turkey hunters and stuff. It's a lot easier to call one uphill than it is downhill. You can get away with it later in the season because you got more greenery, and it's harder to see through the woods, so you can get away with it then. But early season, try to be above the bird.
They're gonna want. So you're saying they're gonna want to work up, so they're not disadvantaging themselves.
They can't. When you're calling, they can't see up that hill. What's on top of that hill.
Gotcha.
But when they're at the top looking down, they can see all
of
that.
It makes sense. It's just like why we get in ladder stands, fire stands for deer hunting.
So try to be above the bird to where it's easier to get him to commit to come up than it is to come down.
Yep.
But look for them benches and be on the top of it at daylight. Listen for him gobbling. He should be right off the end. Sit up on that top, right at the crest, where when he pops up, he's in gun range. And you'll be in business.
All right. Well, that's about all I got, man. I appreciate you coming and talking to me.
And I sure enjoyed it.
So y'all know, we kind of sprung this together, probably 2 weeks ago. I just mentioned it to you. Was it a week ago? I don't know. I spoke with Kelly at least 2 weeks ago and said, I want to talk with you and Blake, but then I never talked to Blake until later on. So this was all kind of shooting from the hip. But like I said, Blake's easy to talk to, so it made it a lot easier. So, so first off, Mossy Oak Properties bringing this to you. Swamp Boys and Precision. Oh goodness, Windy Hill.
I made
it all the way to the end before I messed up. We got to start over, y'all. Hold on. No, Windy Hill Precision.
That's right.
And I appreciate you, and I appreciate them supporting you so that you can be here. So
I sure appreciate it.
All right, man.
I'm honored.
Thank you, dude.
Thank you.
Hey, y'all see us later. Come on.
And stay safe out there.